the start of our conversation when we were discussing if there were fundamentals for the collapse of Soviet Union. So if we look at Soviet Union as to an empire, and Soviet Union was an empire, so it had to collapse inevitably.
No, I think if the regime stayed together, if there were no reforms, if there were no Gorbachev and no Yeltsin and so on, then I think the empire would have survived.
But Poland accepted that.
But what?
Poland, for example, would Poland accept that?
No, I'm talking about Eastern Europe. I'm talking about the Soviet Empire. Not Eastern Europe. No, that had to go. But I'm talking about the Soviet Union, the 16 republics.
Okay.
That I think would have survived if there had been no quarrel on top. If they had not debated whether we should go this way or that way, whether one should bring in public opinion, have elections. Well, once you started that process, then the dissolution of the empire was inevitable.
So how would you, as we're discussing empires, we're discussing different countries, how would you culturally or historically define Russia? Where is Russia? What is Russia?
What is Russia? Russia is a country, Russia is a nation.
Where it is? What's the...
It's partly Europe, partly Asia. I don't quite understand.
So what are the borders of Russia for you? What are the definition of Russia for you? What is the...
I think Russia...
historical beginning and...
Russia is probably too large. Too large because it never had the money properly to administer itself. That was even true already in the 17th and 18th century. You know, I cite this in one of my books. When Peter the Great conquered Livonia and Kurland, he found, they were Swedish before, that Sweden spent more money administering these two little countries than he spent administering the whole Russian Empire. So what happened in Russia? You had to avoid corruption because the administrators, the voivode and so on, had to go and kormitsa izil. In other words, they had to get money from the population. Corruption. I think that if Russia gave up Siberia, it would be better off because it would then be more compact population and could be better administered. But I think there's no chance of Russia doing that because of the riches of minerals and so on. So, but it's partly a tragedy of Russia that it's so large. It cannot administer itself properly. I would prefer if Russia were smaller.
А вот у нас сейчас, уже мы заканчиваем, у нас сейчас вот новые выборы, якобы выборы, да, и
Да.
у нас разыгрывают очень сильно такую сейчас националистическую карту, говорят о патриотизме, и говорят уже официально о том, что все-таки у России такой особый путь, который надо исследовать этому особому пути. Вот может действительно у нее что-то такое в планетарном масштабе какой-то свой особый путь?
Well, the trouble that goes back, to religion, because Russia, after the collapse of the Byzantine Empire, was really the only major country that professed Orthodox Christianity. It could not feel common bonds with either Catholic Europe or Protestant Europe or Islam or Buddhism or anything like that. So it always felt it was unique, особый путь, because of the religion. But I think Russia should give that up. I mean, it is part of Europe. I believe that, and it's racially it's European, linguistically it's European, and religiously it's European. And it should just give up the chimera of особый путь and join Europe. I mean, not necessarily join it as a European community, but say we are Europeans and we belong to Europe. It's very difficult for Russians to admit that. They sort of are Europeans and they are not Europeans. I mean, they're very insulted if you call them Orientals. I remember I was in Russia with the Harvard delegation when I was in 1959. And I was in Leningrad. We were establishing relations in Leningrad. And we met with a Russian professor, and he said to me, he said, "What are you doing? Where are you living now?" I said, "I live in Paris. I have a year off, and I live in Paris." "And you work on Russian history?" I said, "Yes. There's a wonderful library there. They call it Langue Orientale Vivante, the School of Living Oriental Languages." He says, "But we're not Oriental people." You get very insulted. Okay, But you tell them you're Europeans, yes, we are, but we aren't. I think Russians should make up their mind. They are Europeans. Their literature is European, their music is European, their art is European, their science is European, and they belong to Europe. I don't believe in особый путь. They should have no special mission. I don't see their mission.
И совсем последний вопрос. Вот вы прожили большую жизнь, такую...
Мне 88 лет.
Я знаю, я посмотрел в Википедии про это. 23-го года рождения.
Да.
Да. Вы видели много на своем веку разных вещей, людей. Но все-таки хотелось бы от господина Пайпса прогноз и на будущее России, и вообще на будущее. Мир сотрясается всевозможными испытаниями. Вообще ваш прогноз, в первую очередь, конечно, нас Россия интересует, но и вообще ваш взгляд на будущее.
I am optimistic. I have spent my teenage years in Europe between Hitler and Stalin, and nothing could be worse. Now, to me, the world is not threatening. I know we have problems. We have economic problems, we have this, we have that. But on the whole, I'm optimistic. I was in Russia 3 times last year. I was in Perm in February, then I was in Moscow in summer, and then I was in Moscow in December again. And I met a lot of people, and I met a lot of Russian leaders. And I felt one could talk to these people. They're not fanatics. You know, I met Minister of Foreign Affairs. I could have met Putin, but I didn't. I was in Valdai meeting. They went to Sochi to meet Putin, but it was too late at night, and I didn't feel like traveling, so I didn't meet him. But I heard him speak. They're not. The Russia's rulers today make many mistakes, but they're not fanatics. You can talk to them. I think Russia will develop all right, and I think the rest of the world will go okay too. I am on the whole optimistic. And I say this partly because of my age, because I've gone through such horrible times. The 30s, with Hitler and Stalin, with the Depression, World War II, the Holocaust, nothing would be worse than that. So today, nothing frightens me.
Еще хотите что-то?
Спасибо.
Спасибо.
Okay, пожалуйста.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ага. Если можно, я сейчас немного молчащего.
Я знаю.
Да, вы знаете все. Хорошо.